Good morning, everyone. I got woken up 2.5 hours early this morning. The city decided it needed to shred some trees that were right outside my room. So didn't get a lot of sleep last night, which is why today I was going to make a little decaf coffee from home, stop spending all my money going and getting coffee, but I don't have the energy for that. So I went and got a regular coffee. This is full caf, not decaf. But anyway, what we're chatting about today is how I am eating in order to eat intuitively, but also stay lean and healthy and basically keep all of the aesthetic results that I accomplished in the last year and a half while not having to track a single macro. I also kind of want to dive into what intuitive eating is to me, which I feel like could get a little controversial because there's a lot of camps out there. So I'm gonna be curious to see if you guys have any questions about intuitive eating as a whole, because I'd like to make more videos on this topic because I feel like there's a lot to say. I was about to launch into a whole ramble. We'll save that for later. But basically, I weighed myself the other day for the first time in a while and I had no idea. I was like, I don't know if I've really maintained my post-cut, post-reverse diet weight. So I hopped on the scale and I was like, well, it's the same. So clearly what I'm doing is working, which is just nice to see. I trust my body. I trust that I know how to eat intuitively, but seeing the actual data, I'm just a data nerd. I like data. And that is how you make a bagel breakfast sandwich. The only hack or fun thing that I did with this is I was out of bacon. Well, I realized my bacon was expired, so I did not use bacon. So I took some of my sliced turkey and cooked it up in a little bit of bacon fat. So theoretically, there'll be a little hint of bacon flavor in here too. With all the fat from the avocado and the egg, the protein from the egg and the turkey, and the fiber from all of the greens and things, this is going to be a very filling, satiating meal. Oh my goodness, yes, it's so good. I did a very good job with this, if I may say so myself. I've just been sitting at my desk working and I have a bunch of errands that I need to go run, and I was wondering why I was feeling so unmotivated and didn't want to go, and I just realized it's because I didn't get enough sleep last night and I am tired. But I finally got myself to get up and I'm about to go do the errands, but I wanted to briefly touch on why I wanted my breakfast to be particularly filling and satiating. I definitely ate a little bit past satiety. While I was eating it, I got about 80% of the way through and I was like, I am perfectly full. But I decided to continue eating and finish my breakfast. And again, I will break down Marissa's version of intuitive eating a little bit more later, but one of the important things for me while I'm intuitive eating is not only listening to my body in the moment, but also being able to plan ahead. Because here's the thing, I could have perfectly listened to my body, eaten 80% of the breakfast, been very full, very satiated, very happy. But if I want to be able to go run errands for a couple hours and then get back and be able to do a workout, I need to think ahead for that. And personally, I cannot eat right before I work out, so I wouldn't be able to go do errands for a couple hours, come back, eat, and then go straight to a workout. I needed to be able to eat enough to stay fueled and full for the next couple hours until I can get my errands done and finish my workout. So for me, intuitive eating goes a little bit beyond purely just only listening to my body in every single circumstance and situation. It also involves planning ahead. It involves considering certain situations and circumstances when I'm making a decision about food. It's a multi-layered, multifaceted thing. So we'll dive into that a little bit more later. For now, I'm gonna go get my errands done and then I will show you my workout when I get to it. Y'all, I cannot do this. I don't think a workout today is gonna happen. Today was supposed to be gym day 2, so I brought myself outside to my home gym, but the best I could do was lay on the bench, still covered by the cover. I am very sleepy. I don't think today would be a very productive workout. I think with the amount of rest that I've gotten, it would be more productive to rest than to try to push my body. I might as well get a good night's sleep tonight and do this workout tomorrow instead of try to stick to the plan. This is what we call training intuitively. So I think I just might go for a nice long walk because I feel like I need to move, and I feel like if I don't move and get fresh air, then it's gonna be hard to get deep sleep and fall asleep. Well, I'll probably fall asleep quickly because I'm tired, but I'm just gonna feel cooped up all day if I don't get outside and go for a walk. So I think I'm just gonna go for a walk, do a little Instagram Q&A while I'm out and getting my steps in, and then maybe do some stretching. That is something that I feel like I could do. Alrighty, walk accomplished. I don't know how long I walked for. I think it was at least half an hour. It was a good walk. It felt good. It felt energizing. It felt like was good for my body despite me being tired. Now that I feel like I've warmed up my body, I do think like a 20-minute stretchy session would be appropriate just to kind of get things stretched out. Oh, also, since this is what I eat in a day, got a coconut water while I was out running errands, and I've drank this much. I'll probably finish it today. I'm thirsty. Since I know everyone's gonna ask, this is the stretchy video that I'm about to do. I've never done this before. I don't know who this is, but I had a little skim through it and it looked like something that would be good for my body. So we're just gonna try it and see. That stretching routine actually felt really good. My like hips and knees and all sorts of joints like popped and cracked in really good ways that felt very productive. And now my tummy is a grumbly, so I think it is time to go make some dinner. I'm so tired. I can't wait to go to bed on time tonight. It's gonna be glorious. Wait. LOL, not dinner time. I just remembered the whole point of this video was to talk about intuitive eating, and I wanted to chat about that before I eat dinner, just so I don't have to think about it later, because I need as much of my brain power that I have left, my admittedly very low brain power today. The first point that I want to make is that when I am talking about intuitive eating, I'm not talking about like capital I, capital E, intuitive eating. Like the intuitive eating that's talked about in the book, Intuitive Eating. That book talks about intuitive eating in the context of recovering from a disordered relationship with food and using their specific type of intuitive eating in order to heal a relationship with food. That is not the type of intuitive eating that I am talking about. When I talk about intuitive eating, it has nothing to do with that type. I wish they named it something else, because in my head, intuitive eating is just eating. It's like when you're born as a baby, you don't count calories, you eat intuitively. To me, that's what intuitive eating is. So I wish they named it something else so that it wasn't so confusing. But I don't know what else to call the intuitive eating that I use. So I'm just gonna keep calling it intuitive eating because that's what intuitive eating is. And just to be abundantly clear, the intuitive eating from the book is absolutely 100% valid way to eat, especially if you are someone coming from a background with a disordered relationship with food and like it's designed for you. Like, please by all means go do that. Like, everything that I'm about to say about my version of intuitive eating is not to discredit the intuitive eating that helps with healing your relationship with food. Like, two completely separate ball games. So let's clarify what I mean when I say intuitive eating. There are some general guidelines, general principles that I follow when it comes to food. Number one, eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. This is like one of the most basic principles of listening to your body, eating intuitively. I feel like this rule is pretty self-explanatory, except I think what people don't tend to explain about it is that this means that if you have a slow metabolism, if you need to restrict, or if you need to only eat 1,200 calories a day in order to maintain weight, you can't implement true intuitive eating, because you will either undereat because your hunger signals just aren't there and your body's not in a healthy place to be able to intuitively eat, or you will end up overeating because your metabolism is slow and so your body's going to compensate. So if you have a slow metabolism or very low hunger to the point where you have to eat very minimal calories to maintain weight, then intuitive eating is not really for you yet. Your hunger and satiety signals can also be affected by various health issues. So certain people, certain health issues also cannot eat intuitively because it's going to be thrown off either by medications or by the health issue itself. Again, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. This is just a thing. My second guideline of intuitive eating is to listen to what your body is asking of you, not necessarily your mind. Because here's the thing, your body is never going to need or ask for chocolate cake or donuts or pizza or other highly palatable, highly processed foods. Your body itself will never benefit more from those foods over an equal calorie equivalent that is more dense in nutrition. So for my version of intuitive eating, mental cravings do not dictate what you eat, which I think is the biggest difference with the book version of intuitive eating. But this does mean that if you are someone who is recovering from an unhealthy relationship with food, where you have restricted all of those foods forever and you are afraid of them, like, my version of intuitive eating is not for everyone. You might benefit a lot more from the other version of intuitive eating. So again, I'm not saying mine is right and the other one is wrong. I'm just saying it's different, and this is my approach. This is kind of the main principle that distinguishes my way of intuitive eating. The mind and body don't always agree on what they think is going to be best for your body. And relationship with food aside, let's just say you have a great relationship with food. Like, you can indulge in chocolate cake and not feel guilty about it at all. You don't restrict any foods whatsoever. Like, you feel good about food. Nothing makes you feel guilty. There are still cases in which your brain can ask you for something that your body would definitely not need, just because of biology. Like, for example, one thing I learned early on when I first started not learning to eat intuitively, because I've kind of always just done that, but like started paying more attention to it, is when I'm really tired, I crave sugary things. Like, my brain says, go eat cake. Because when you are really tired, your brain utilizes a lot more glucose. And so your brain is like, oh my God, we're running out of glucose. We need more glucose. Like, give us the sugariest thing that you can get your hands on to get more glucose so that the brain can function well. Eating a piece of cake is not actually going to solve that problem. That is just your brain's like quickest way of solving the problem. And when you actually take a step back and look at it, eating that slice of cake is actually probably gonna make things a little bit worse, because then you're gonna get a huge glucose spike, but then it's gonna be followed by a huge glucose crash, which is gonna make you even more tired. So this is an instance where your mind's idea of what it needs for food is not necessarily what is actually optimal. And so my way of intuitive eating does also require some amount of contextualization and understanding and logic around what your body and brain may be craving. So for me, it's not as simple as eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. It's, if my brain is craving cake, why is my brain craving cake? Oh, it's because I'm really tired. Maybe I can have the cake if I want to, but maybe make sure I go to bed on time tonight. So I guess this guideline for intuitive eating for me more comes down to just an understanding of the body and applying that to the signals that I am getting from my body and my brain. Marissa's third guideline for intuitive eating is probably the most controversial one, because it is the one that flies in the face of intuitive eating in the book, which is that if you are eating a ton of highly processed, highly palatable foods, you are inherently not intuitively eating. These foods are literally engineered, like, people are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to engineer foods to hijack your brain, to make you continue to crave them and eat way more than you would ever actually need to. Like, that's why if you start eating a tube of Pringles, you're gonna eat the whole frickin' tube of Pringles, because someone somewhere has been running tests on these chips for years and years and years to determine the optimal like amount of crispiness, the optimal saltiness, the optimal crunch factor, the optimal shape, whatever. Like, they have perfectly perfected this little piece of corn chip. Is it corn? I don't know. This little chip to make it so that once you have one, you need to have them all. The goal of Pringles is to make money, not to give your body nutrition or anything that it actually needs. So if you're eating these foods, you are technically not intuitively eating, because they are hijacking your body's hunger and satiety cues. That said, this doesn't mean you can never eat any of those foods and still be considered intuitively eating, and like you have to restrict things in order to eat intuitively. That's not what I'm saying at all. This is where we refer back to the previous guideline of understanding your body in a greater context and being able to apply that. Like, I eat cookies, I eat cake, I eat donuts, like I eat pizza, I eat all these good things. I am just aware that when I choose to eat these things, I am relinquishing some of my body's natural intuition when it comes to food. And then from there, I will make decisions accordingly. Like, I know that when I have a coffee and a donut for breakfast, I am signing myself up for a blood sugar roller coaster, and I will be hungry all day. Like, no matter what. Even if I have like solid meals after that, I'm gonna be like, part of me is just not gonna be satiated all day. So I go into that day knowing that. And so I can approach my meals accordingly and like understand that, okay, this is enough. And the only reason I'm feeling like it's not enough is because I had a coffee and donut for breakfast. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I personally feel like this way of eating gives you the most connection to your body and also agency in your decisions about food. Again, I don't think it's for everyone at any stage in their journey. I think it takes work to get here. I think if you have a disordered relationship with food and you're afraid of foods, like by all means lean towards the other style of intuitive eating. Like get over your fear of cake before you dive into what I just talked about, because if applied to the wrong person, this would not be optimal. But I think for most people, it is optimal end game because there's no restriction. There's just understanding and contextualization. I feel like I didn't do the best job of explaining this, and it's probably because I'm very tired. But I would love to talk more about this, and I would love for you guys to ask any questions that you have about intuitive eating, because this is where I try to get my clients to eventually. Like I said, it's not where I start with everyone. It's not what's gonna work for everyone at every stage in the journey. But where I like to get all my clients is eventually to a place where they can eat in a way that is most productive and healthy for their body, but also keeps them feeling very balanced and gives them the confidence to stay healthy for the rest of their lives, but not feel like they're restricting in any way. So let me know what questions you have about how I approach food and my relationship with food. I'd love to do like a whole relationship with food Q&A or something of that sort. So hit me with any questions that you have. And now let's go make some dinner. Oh my goodness, look at this dinner. Green Chef just absolutely coming through with the good stuff again and again and again. Wow, got a Green Chef box in the mail yesterday. Very excited when I saw this on the menu. Oh, it's hot, but it's so good. I'm gonna need a minute, then we're gonna talk about this. Okay, now that I've had time to take a couple bites and like actually thoroughly enjoy this. This was a Green Chef meal. Green Chef is a CCOF certified organic meal delivery company. So they deliver delicious, healthy meals with pre-measured ingredients, pre-made sauces, like everything just like perfectly proportioned, mostly prepped for you, which makes cooking so much easier and so much quicker when like you're super busy or super hungry and just wanna like get to eating, but wanna make sure it's healthy. Green Chef makes cooking so easy. You can spend so much less time stressing about like coming up with meal ideas and buying ingredients that you don't really use like half of and like waste the rest, and just spend more time enjoying delicious homemade meals that you can feel so good about putting in your body. With fresh produce, premium proteins, organic ingredients, Green Chef is the #1 meal delivery company, and it makes it so easy for eating intuitively because all of their ingredients are super high quality. It's not gonna be something that's hyper palatable that's going to hijack your hunger and satiety and make you confused and make you feel like you just need to keep eating and eating and eating. In my opinion, this is just as delicious, if not more delicious than a pizza. I know a lot of people might disagree, but like genuinely, I would rather have this than a pizza right now. But it's obviously so much more nutrient dense, and my body is going to thrive a lot more eating something like this than having a pizza. And if you want to order through them, they do have options for every lifestyle. So they have a keto paleo box, which is usually what I get. Then I'll just throw in some leftover like quinoa or rice or something if I feel like having a grain that day. If not, then I don't. I listen to my body and decide if I feel like I need more carbs or if I just want to keep it more like high fat, high protein. Whatever I feel like my body needs is what I give it. But they also have vegan options, vegetarian options, Mediterranean. They have fast and fit. They have gluten-free. So many options. You can even mix and match your box. So if you have like multiple people in your house that you're trying to feed or whatever, and they have like different food preferences, you can mix and match. So like you don't have to get an entirely vegan box. I think I'm a decent cook. Like I have some fun in the kitchen. I like to experiment. Like I've spent my fair share of time cooking and trying things, and I think I make pretty good food. It's never as good as this. Like I don't know what their people do in the kitchen when they're making the like seasonings and sauces, but those, the seasonings and sauces are just like transformative. If any of you have tried Green Chef, you know what I'm talking about. I did at one point get multiple of my roommates hooked on Green Chef, and they also would not shut up about it. So it's not just me. Like, they were enthusiastically telling me how good it was, like they were trying to sell me on it. I'm like, you used my code, but thank you. Speaking of my code, if you guys want to try it out, you can use my code FitAndNerdy135 to get yourself $135 off across 5 boxes plus free shipping on your first box. You can go to greenchef.com for more details or click the link down in the description box below. I cannot recommend this enough. Regardless of what your goals are, this makes eating healthy easier, quicker, so much less stressful. Like, it's just, it's so good. So going back to intuitive eating, like I said, it's super customizable. Like, I get the keto paleo box not because I want to eat keto, but because I know it's gonna be higher fat, high protein, which sometimes I can feel like my body really wants more fat and more protein. Like, I feel like that's gonna be what feels the best ultimately for me. And sometimes I can tell that my body just wants more carbs. And so it's really easy to just throw in like a grain. It's also easy to just eat however much I need and then save the leftovers so I can eat until I'm full and satiated. I never thought about this, but all of their dishes work really well as leftovers. Like, they save in the fridge really well. I don't know if they do that intentionally, but it works. But yeah, definitely check out Green Chef FitAndNerdy135 to get yourself $135 off across the first 5 boxes plus free shipping. Greenchef.com, link in the description, check it out. So my roommate and her boyfriend were all like, oh, we're gonna go get some ice cream. And I was like, that sounds good. Can you bring me some? And they were like, yes. So now I have ice cream. It's chocolate peanut butter crack, and it's very good. Literally just chocolate with, oh my God, there's actual like peanut butter cut pieces. I thought it was just chocolate and peanut butter, but there's chunks of chocolate with the chunks of peanut butter. So this is gonna be my dessert for the night. And I'm eating this knowing full well that my body doesn't need this. I finished dinner and I was quite full, but mentally I wanted it. So I'm having it. You know what I hate? When I finally get myself to like wash my sheets, do all the laundry, I'm done washing my sheets, but I walk into my room thinking I'm gonna just, you know, get ready to go to bed, crawl into bed and go to sleep, but I haven't put the sheets on my bed. So last night I showered, made my bed, and promptly passed out. So it is now the next day. I have a chocolate frosty smoothie bowl in a little mason jar. This is probably should have done it in a bowl, but it's fine. But what I wanted to say, to kind of wrap everything together, is I am on this new journey of pursuing more mobility, really focusing on fluidity of movement, all of that good stuff, lifting significantly less, but I want to maintain all of the aesthetic results that I've gotten in the last 1.5 years, losing fat and building some muscle. But I don't want to have to track macros while I do this. I could if I wanted to, but like, I don't need to track macros for this goal. Like, there's no specific macros that are gonna help with flexibility. So I'm choosing instead to eat intuitively. And so I wanted to take this video to kind of highlight my approach to eating intuitively, which is my general approach to eating intuitively. Not like this is how I eat intuitively in order to stay lean. This is just how I eat intuitively, but it works really well for maintaining physical aesthetic results as well. I take a very multi-layered, multifaceted approach to intuition when it comes to my body that not only takes into account like the physical and mental sensations that I have that may encourage me to eat a specific thing or eat a specific way at a specific time, but also I take into account the circumstances and situations that I'm in. So yesterday when I was gonna be gone for a couple hours and theoretically wanted to do a workout afterwards, that was a circumstance that I took into account, and I ate a little bit past satiety because I knew that I would probably be hungry before I was going to like have time to cook and eat again. I'm also very aware of the fact that a lower protein intake takes a while to sneak up on me. So if I've eaten kind of low protein for like 2 or 3 days, it'll take like 2 or 3 days for my body to start craving more protein. And at that point, I kind of know that I've been slacking on protein a little bit more than is necessarily beneficial for my body. So I try to head that off by actively making sure I'm incorporating protein into all of my meals. Unless for some specific reason I can tell that my body like does not want protein or whatever, I will actively try to incorporate protein, even if like I check in with myself and I'm like, what do I want? And protein isn't the first thing to come to my brain. So for me, eating intuitively to stay lean and just like eating intuitively in general is very much about not only the internal cues, but also the external circumstances. I hope this makes sense. Again, I'd love to do a whole video about like relationship with food or intuitive eating. I think it'll be a lot easier for me to talk in a more concrete way if I actually have questions from you guys about this. So this is the video to open the floor for discussion. If you guys have any points you want me to like go into more depth about, or any questions you want me to address, etc., let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really does support me and my channel. I really genuinely appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends, your family, and your neighbors. If you want to see more videos from me all about health and fitness, you can check them out over here. To see future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you get notified when I post a video, and I will see you very soon. Bye!